Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Ziggy's Rants. I'm Ziggy. Before I start on today's rant, the usual thumbs up always helps with the reach of the channel. Subscribe and share. If you can do that, that would be really appreciated. Thank you so much. So remember, plenty of thumbs up. Now then, to today's rant. Well, it's another poll that's come out, and it's a UK-wide poll, which shows Labour having a 15-point lead. What's interesting is in Scotland. Now, the poll suggests that Labour are going to take 38% of the votes in Scotland. That's a huge amount. The SNP, 23%. Conservatives, 16%. And Lib Dems, 11%. Now, if that is accurate, then it says that the SNP are going to be in single-digit MPs. They may even be overtaken by the Conservative Party, who look like holding the 6 seats they've got and maybe gaining another 1 or 2. So the SNP are going to fall that far that they could well be the third party at Westminster. What a fall from grace that is for the SNP, and it'll be a disaster for honest John Swinney, because when we've seen their campaign so far, it's all over the place. It really is. They're in absolute disarray. The message is not getting out there. It's they started off, well, we're going to get rid of the Tories. We're going to have a go at all 6 seats and clear the Tories out of Scotland. And they could be the third biggest party. The Tories could overtake them at Westminster. So that kind of message. And now they've turned and thought, well, hold on. Labour are the ones that are going to take most of the seats. We'll attack Labour now. So they've changed that. They've changed from independence to local issues to cost of living crisis, back to independence. The message is all over the place. They are really, really struggling. And I don't see it changing. The latest news of the 450 million that they're going to have to send back to Brussels is another show how inept and corrupt this government really are. The answer to that John Swinney gave, and the shout down and boos of when the BBC asked the question, says everything. His answer, he was nervous. He was reading off a script, as they all do, even honest John having to read off a script to answer that. And his answer of, well, the projects aren't finishing until 2025, so we don't know how much money will be, the budget will be spent on that. They've had over 6 years. This is not just the budget for this year or anything like that. This is over a 6, 7, 8 year period where they haven't spent that money. They're not all of a sudden going to spend all that money in less than a year. That's just nonsense answer, which a standard answer from honest John Swinney. They're a mess. They're a mess, and I can't see it getting any better. And I do think we could be seeing a massive switch from the SNP, I think, back to Labour. But even the Conservatives, the Conservative message is a hell of a lot better and more organised and better put across than the SNP. The policies are more clearer. The attacks are more clearer on the SNP and what they've done in Scotland. So, and of course, we have the GRR, still a big issue in Scotland. I think the SNP have lost the women's vote, and I do think that'll hurt Labour in some way. I think that's where the Conservatives will gain because I think women will vote for Conservatives because of their stance and what they where they didn't vote for it and they objected to it in strong terms. I think that will gain some respect, some votes. So I do think, funnily enough, they're going to lose the election, the Conservatives, because of what's happening at Westminster with the Conservatives. But in Scotland, they're kind of holding strong on what they were last time, and they actually might gain. So that's kind of a bit of a weird twist to the election, but all will tell. But 2 weeks in, I think the Conservatives in Scotland have been pretty clear and come out with what they believe and what their policies are if they got into government in Scotland. The SNP all over the place are in disarray. The message is all mixed. And Labour, honestly, I don't know what they stand for, what their policies are. I really don't. I'm not hearing much from them. Not really. They're not coming out with many policies that I know of. They're not speaking out. I really don't know what they stand for in Labour. And I'd love to hear from Labour. I'd love for someone to come on the show and tell me what the policies of Labour are. So if any Labour candidates out there, come and talk to me. Come and talk to the general public, and let's get to know what you stand for and what your policies are for in Scotland. There you go. So that's my rant over for today. Hope you've enjoyed. Remember, thumbs up always helps with the reach of the show. And until next time, thank you for listening.